Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Here in this video, we are going to be going over everything you need to know on AMC stock and our markets heading into today and after hours when you're going to have Nvidia reporting earnings. Now, Nvidia is kind of the glue, if you will, that is holding our markets together. And I want to give you a little bit of a heads up on what could inevitably happen, right? Or what needs to happen to keep Nvidia stock up. In fact, today and after hours, you've never seen this before. You've never seen a $200 billion market cap move being priced into a stock on earnings. You've never seen that before. Last time we seen a $200 billion market cap move was Meta back in 2022, and you were only pricing in like 5%, and the stock dropped 25% or so. So you've never seen this priced into a stock ever before. Nvidia is pricing in about 11%, to the upside or to the downside here. Now, I will say the last couple of days, Nvidia has been selling off. So maybe that means there's a better chance now that the stock could, rally a little bit. But yeah, we're definitely seeing a little bit of a problem here. At the very least. So we're going to get into all of this information. Hit that like button as well as subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing to do so. It is free 99. So two potential things that could happen today and after hours. Nvidia could fall a little bit, or Nvidia could fall a lot. I think there's a very low chance Nvidia actually rallies huge. Just based on the expectations. Expectations are so high. Like Wall Street's actual number is about $20.5 billion is the estimate. But if you ask most people or most like investment banks or banks out there what their opinions are, you're going to find numbers anywhere from $22 to $24 billion. UBS came out with a $23 billion estimate. And you've seen these estimates come out. Nobody's really expecting $20.5 billion. They're expecting quite a large beat on top of that. Now, it really doesn't matter what that number comes in as long as it's not like 25 billion, something crazy strong. It really has to do with your full year guidance and if demand is expected to keep up. Now, you would think at some point there's going to be kind of a lull in demand as far as an actual unit basis, but maybe there's still so much demand, actual units will be okay. The other question is, if you're thinking about top line revenue guidance, pricing. Pricing is important. These GPUs, these H100s that are selling for $35,000, they're typically not supposed to sell for $35,000. They're supposed to sell for like $8,000 or so, right? Now, if Nvidia forecasts some pricing pressure later into this year, that's going to mean margins get compressed and EPS might be a little bit lower than what we are expecting. Now, Nvidia does have other chips coming out later in this year as well, but we don't have any specifics on pricing there either. I'm just going to say this. It's probably the easiest way to put it. If Nvidia is expected to do, let's say, $20 billion, just to, keep it very neutral, not 23 billion, let's just say 20.5 billion. Times that by 4, the estimate for full year guidance on Wall Street is likely 80 plus billion, 80, 90, $100 billion for 2024. If we get a number that is lower than that, that's a problem. Even if we get an $80 billion number, that would imply some sequential negative growth quarter over quarter coming some point over the next, 4 quarters or so. Wall Street, Nvidia, they're not priced for that, right? And that's where you could get into a bit of a problem. That's where Nvidia could fall a lot. Now, why is this important for AMC? Well, this is important for AMC because if you do see a small drop in AMC stock, then you see a small drop in Nvidia, then you likely do see a broadening out of our markets. You probably get a bullish market. You probably get a bullish AMC, other stocks, as money from Nvidia kind of dies down and the hype goes away a little bit and money can go elsewhere into other areas of our markets. Or you get a big decline in Nvidia, and you likely see just fear and panic across the board, probably selling everything. would ensue at that point, because you got to imagine, I mean, AI is the thing that is keeping our markets in a good spot, right? Without AI, Microsoft would be lower, Apple, Google, Amazon, all of these stocks would be lower. Now, I talked about this in the last video as well, but the dollar, typically when the dollar rises, stocks fall. Now, what's been happening? The dollar has been rising ever since really the start of 2024, and stocks have been rising. That's because of this AI kind of hype out there. If the AI hype goes away, just the dollar alone suggests the S&P and the NASDAQ should be at least 5% lower right now. If this rise in the dollar back here, right here where my cursor is, was a 10.5% correction in the markets, this would likely imply markets should at least be down 5% from your all-time highs right now, in which you're really not there. So I do think the degree in which Nvidia does fall is the most important thing. Does Nvidia fall 2 to 5%? That's probably good for our markets to maybe not crush the AI enthusiast out there, but maybe just to get some money flowing elsewhere. If Nvidia falls 15, 20%, that's a problem. Your AI hopes and dreams are probably crushed a little bit. So that's important. And again, I want to point out yesterday's, what was that? 4.35% drop in regular trading. Today, you're down 2%. Maybe that does cushion the blow a little bit for Nvidia's actual earnings, but it's all going to be about forward-looking guidance. And even when you consider last earnings, Nvidia had rallied from 392 to about 500 before their earnings. And what happened? The stock was down 2.5% the next day with fantastic guidance, with fantastic earnings overall. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think you're exactly set up in an optimal position right now. With that being said, we are going to have the FOMC minutes that come out at 2 p.m. today. We are expecting the minutes are going to be on the hawkish side. We're expecting some pretty hawkish Fed minutes. This is backwards looking though. It's 3 weeks ago we had the Fed meeting. So I don't know how much the markets are going to respond to the minutes. So we'll have to see. But TLT is definitely taking a bit of a hit today heading into the Fed meeting at 2 p.m. That means bond yields are rising and again kind of cushioning the markets for what could be a Fed hawkish Fed minutes, and that comes out at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. So I expect that will give the markets a move, but really it depends on what's in the minutes. We are expecting to hear something about the pace of the balance sheet runoff potentially slowing down. That could be on the bullish side. Now, as far as option activity here today in AMC stock, extremely bullish. You have volume to the call side of 86.5%, volume to the put side of 13.5%. So very good looking numbers there. Now, if we take a look at the short positioning in AMC, we do have, let's see, 2.72% cost to borrow fees. Short interest percentage of free flow, 12.18%, $142.13 million worth of short positions. Days to cover, 1.81 days, 30.5 million shares that are currently sold short, shares out on loan 13.36 million, cost to borrow 1.02%, utilization of 49.26%, and a short score of 63.92 out of 100. So nothing too crazy here. I mean, the data looks pretty similar to yesterday. If you take a look at stock twits and these sentiment barometers over here, sentiment is neutral at 49. 1 day ago, it was at 62, which was bullish. Message volume yesterday was low at 42. Today, it is normal at 48, so that's good. And the participation ratio is high today at 55, so that is really good news. More people talking about AMC is never, ever going to be a bad thing. Percent of stocks above their 50-day moving average today up about 0.2%. Currently, about 51.5% of stocks are above their 50-day moving average. So not exactly a great number. Really doesn't show a broad kind of rally in our markets right now. But let's be honest. I mean, the S&P and the Nasdaq have been hitting all-time highs, and the broad markets have not really been doing anything. Now, 10-year Treasury yields are pretty much flat on the day today. I expect they will move when we do get the Fed minutes at 2 p.m. today. As far as earnings, you will have Nvidia, Rivian, Etsy, Synopsys, Lucid, Sonova, Dutch Bros, APA Corporation, Marathon Oil, and Suncor Energy that will report earnings tomorrow. Pre-market, Moderna, Newmont, Nikola, Fiverr, Wayfair, Pioneer, First Source Builders, and then tomorrow and after hours, Block, Carvana, Mercado Libre, New, Booking Holdings, Intuit, Indie, Vail, Live Nation, and then Friday pre-market, you have Warner Bros. Discovery. Now, again, for AMC purposes, I think it really depends what happens with Nvidia. Do we get a small crash, small kind of reset, or do we get a large kind of fall in Nvidia? And if we get a large fall in Nvidia, I'm not expecting the markets are going to do well. Again, if we get a small drop in Nvidia, I think AMC and the broad markets can do very well. And I would be targeting that 50-day moving average at $5.11 per share coming tomorrow, or at the bare minimum by the end of this week, as long as we only get a small fall in Nvidia. Let me know down below in the comment section what your opinion is on this situation. Do you think we get a large drop or a small drop? And do you think AMC stock will do well? Nonetheless, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.